everyone, this is Bitsy. Bitsy was just moved back out to the greenhouse probably about 2.5 or so weeks ago after we harvested her. So has all new to her bedding, but it is from my aged bedding bin. Now has been occupying the lowest level on the worm cafe, so has the benefit of getting some nice drippings from the upper level as well that, you know, drip down through this matured bedding. I did a migration on Bitsy, so the worms are likely, or the big pieces of material from this harvest are likely still at one end. I can't remember if I left them all at one end, but kind of looks like I've got, that's a huge stick. There's a corn cob. Kind of looks like this was the end I migrated to, and I still left a bunch of the bigger mix. Now, my aged bedding bin is just, you know, I get it from Plant Obsessed recipe. So it's just cardboard. So when you see all these leaves and stuff here, that's obviously something that we added once Bitsy got back out to the greenhouse. We added some more shredded leaves. And then the cardboard is the bedding that I age indoors, give it a bit of nitrogen, a bit of molasses, a handful of living material. Like usually I just use my stored castings to get it underway. So what I'm doing here today, it's the 19th of January. I'm just checking to see if Bitsy needs any food. It looks like the worms are happy. This is what happens when you use aged bedding. This bin, technically is only, let's say, 3 weeks old. And yet look at the castings. I can see cocoons. Why is it looking like this? Well, it's because the bedding was probably, I'm going to guess 3 to 4 months old that I put in here. The bedding has, it's in a big bedding bin, but it's got worms moving in it. It's definitely got microbes from castings in it. And those, of course, contain cocoons. So I ended up getting worms in my bedding bin, which is perfectly fine. And so the bedding that I add here is already underway. And those are some needles from our big pine tree. Again, I don't mind. Haven't actually seen any of those break down yet. So I like putting chunky things like this, by the way. I'm just going to maybe put this brown paper here and put some feeding. I am going to feed this worm bin, and I'm going to feed right here. And I like doing it on top of, well, maybe I won't use this brown paper because this is the cover for the top. So, but I do like putting irregularly shaped things under my feedings, like egg cartons or the molded cardboard that you get from, when you buy a monitor or something like that, because I do like the air pockets that it leaves. So what I'm going to ask my photographer is just to hand me the bedding bucket that I brought out. Not that I think Bitsy doesn't have a lot of bedding, but this is a bedding bucket that it actually isn't as old as the bedding that I replenished Bitsy with when I harvested the bin. I'm just checking to make sure I don't have worms on my hands. This is bedding that I'm going to throw in here that I did a worm seminar online, and here's the bedding. I use some manure, again the molasses infused cardboard, as well as some cornmeal. So that the horse manure, the well-aged horse manure, formed the living material. So that's what I'm going to use for Bitsy today. And I'm just going to throw some food in here. There we go. So this is pulverized food that I make. The grit is right on top. Bitsy is the lowest level of this bin, so it is going to get damp. So I'm going to try not to get too much juice out of this thawed food, and just and sprinkle it around over a wider area at this end of the bin. And looks like it's asparagus stems. We always have avocado and maybe even banana peel mixed in here, and some tea leaves. So, and it looks like there's pepper seeds in there, so we probably have the stems to a pepper. So that is pretty wet. So I'm now gonna go into this new aging bedding bin and try to get some drier cardboard off the top of it. Again, this is from a seminar I did, this is about a week and a half ago. And so there, this is a lot of cardboard added to Bitsy, but I'm trying to build up the material again because she was just recently harvested, and I pulled out probably about 10 pounds of beautiful castings from this bin, and I'm just starting to replenish. You know, I bury the big things, you know, try to keep the bigger elements buried. She is going to sit at the bottom level of the worm cafe. So you have to be mindful on these tower systems how full you make each level. They have these little guide rails here that just make sure that worm stays below it. So there's the top of the guide rail. So you can see that this bedding is going to be right up to that guide rail. Well, that's okay. The worms go up and down, and they're just fine with that. I'll just move some of this material over here to make it all flat. However, you know, you don't want to get it too high because it will just compact, and you need to give it time, because as the worms work on this material, the level will drop. I'm just trying to find the guide rail here. There it is. And this one actually, like I said, still has her cardboard from when she was indoors. So, or actually a food bag. So I will leave that there. So any worms dropping down from below will have to travel across this bag. But anyway, they'll be fine. So there's the little flies I was talking to you about, or those maybe are regular fungus gnats. Anyway, so I've tried to keep the level down. I've added new bedding, but I've tried to keep it low enough that there won't be too much compression happening, that the worms will be happy moving in and out. Before I put the other level on, I just want to make sure that there's no worms crawling above those guides, because they will get smushed in between the two levels, sliding against each other. Anyway, that's Bitsy for today. Thanks very much, everyone. Bye-bye.